Hi guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And today we're going to talk about The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 19, which is part 1 of the reunion. And so far, these 45 minutes, hot mess. So, if you guys have been following us, unfortunately, today we can't review a Vulture article, which is our personal fave. But we did find another article, so we're going to read it to you guys. And of course, give you opinions on the article and as well as what we saw. Again, hot mess.
Okay, so this is from realityt.com. The headline reads Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 Reunion Part 1 Recap Desperately Seeking Accountability.
Mm.
Well, it all comes down to this. Part 1 of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 Reunion has arrived, and the women were challenged to salvage this season. They gathered in all-black outfits, seemingly in mourning for the show that once was a top-tier franchise. During the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 finale, we watch Potomac Ensemble navigate the aftermath of a nasty brawl, commiserating over a fight that left Kiarna with 12 stitches. It was one of the few moments in the entire season where the women seemed to act like a cohesive group. Since this season was mostly characterized by the women refusing to get along, Andy Cohen opened the sit-down by setting an intention for the women. If the boss man kicks off the reunion by calling the season frustrating, you know a lot is riding here. Challenge all of them to find a path forward and take some accountability for what went wrong in season 8. That turned out to be a lot easier said than done. So, first portion, let's talk about SEX. Throughout the season, the ladies struggled to find any common ground. The one thing that seemed to get them talking was SEX. When it's time to talk about sex, all of their ears perk up. Mia blamed it on the fact that they're all just horny toads. With that in mind, Andy kicked off the reunion by revisiting all of the raunchy conversations the ladies had this season. It was a good way to ease into things. One topic that seemed to stick was Robin's advice on oral presentations. In particular, Robin had some very specific directions about what to do at that end. Andy asked the ladies if anyone had taken Robin's advice, and Mia quickly weighed in and said she had been experimenting with her new beau, Incognito, aka Ink. Talking about sex was a good starting point to get the ladies all loosed up, but it didn't take long for the shade to start as they revisited Karen's comments about how many partners she may or may not have had over the last 5 years. Robin walked herself right into a banger of a read. She accused Karen of not being able to keep up with the number of partners. The Grand Dame perfectly responded by saying, no, that would be Juan. Whew. Well, before we continue to the next portion, because this reunion needs to be broken down in several pieces, what did we think about the way in which it started? What do we think about what the ladies were wearing? Because that's what we see first, their fashion and walking into the reunion set.
Man, when Andy started like that, and I'm like, okay, the reunion's over. I'm glad you said what I was thinking, what the world was thinking, what Dee was thinking, because we were all so frustrated. So if you guys have watched our other videos, we kept saying it for 18 episodes. What the
Yeah,
heck is going on? I
right.
mean, they just couldn't get over their beef, their drama. It was things lingering from season 7. And it just brought this like black cloud over the season that was very unpleasant to see. So when
Yeah.
Andy started that way, and I'm like, man, boss man is pissed. If y'all don't fix it, somebody gonna get laid off, and times are rough. So y'all gonna take up. um, regarding, oh, we haven't spoken about Candace yet. Regarding Robin and Karen, I think they don't even know what they're mad at this point. That was a dumb little segment
Yeah.
there. And as far as talking about SEX, I'm like, I get it is all fun and games. You know, they do it every so often.
Yeah.
But, and you know, and this happens with the other franchises as well. There should be more to this. Like, why does it have to be something so promiscuous, even though it's good TV, or something as serious? And we'll probably talk about it later, which I think is the Pace Foundation.
Pave
Pace,
event.
Pave
Pave.
event.
Mhm.
for it to unite the ladies. I feel like there has to be like a lighter like common ground that
Mhm.
it's a little more relatable to us. I mean, one can say sex is relatable, but not everybody is comfortable talking about it. So,
Right.
there's a lot more things that the ladies can bond over, um, that I think is entertaining and that fans can relate to a little bit more. What do you think?
Um, yeah, that segment, I was like, okay, whatever. But what Andy said to start, that's what stuck with me
Yeah.
because he he didn't even wait, just
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Hmm.
And he spoke for all of us. I like to think for all of us. For most of us Potomac fans, I think he spoke for us. In what he said, it was a frustrating season to watch. And it was difficult to get through it. We struggled a lot. And that has not always been the case.
Hmm.
This was a franchise that we all really enjoyed in the past. So for him to start off that way, I think is very, very telling because we do know now that at least two women on that stage are not coming back. So it's going to be an interesting rest of reunion. But if you want to say something else before I continue?
The fashion.
Oh, right.
I really don't care about the fashion. Surprisingly. Uh,
Okay.
I thought it was subpar compared to the other season finales. I don't know. I feel like they're just doing too much. It's just showing too much skin and everything is just so out there. And I don't feel like any of them really looked like fantastic.
I think Karen looked amazing, girl. I don't know
Well,
what
I
you're.
loved her hair.
Her hair
Hair
was.
was phenomenal. That's
Oh,
what she needs to do. Giselle finally got a good stylist.
did
I'm like,
she?
well, compared to what she's worn, this is
Yeah, yeah.
probably how she's looked.
Okay,
Hair,
you're right.
clothes, and everything.
You're right. You're right.
And we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but I'm like, it's just so upsetting that someone so gorgeous on the outside is can be so ugly on the inside.
Whew.
That's
Oh yeah.
Robin. Robin always looks the same, unimpressed. NECA, she just wants to be cute and collect a paycheck. Candace, I really think she's cute, but the way she just doesn't deliver.
Yeah.
The way she says things makes her ugly as well. Mia, after I saw that whole Gordon thing, I don't care
Man,
what she looks like.
hold that thought.
I know. I guess I'm going in on them and not the outfits. So that shows you how upset I am with all of them. Okay? Go ahead.
Well, before we continue on the thoughts, let's continue on the recap. Okay, so where in the world is Juan Dixon? Coming to season 8, Robin and Juan had an uphill battle with having to explain the bizarre saga of Juan running around in hotels and laundromats with women who weren't Robin. They did a terrible job explaining it, and an even worse job trying to clear up the whole situation at the reunion. When Andy started asking Robin about Juan, she said that she felt like he was supportive of her this season. Since Juan lost his job, we saw him pop up on the show more than we had in previous seasons. Still, she admitted that he didn't watch the show back. He also didn't bother to show up to the reunion, which seemed baffling to everyone. It's been 4 seasons since Juan last showed up to a reunion. You'd think with his wife in the hot seat, he would take a break from submitting job applications on Indeed to show up at the reunion. Instead, Robin said he declined to come. Wendy had the best perspective on the issue. She said that Juan should have been well aware that his wife would be under fire at the reunion because of his actions. Even if he didn't watch the show, it would take just a teeny tiny ounce of self awareness to realize that skipping the reunion will be more stressful for Robin. Wendy explained the least he can do as your husband is stand behind you and say, baby, you don't have to take all the bullets. I can take some too. When it came time for Robin to address Juan's situation, there wasn't much new information to share. Robin hasn't changed her story about what happened, and she stood 10 toes down on the fact that she believes her man. The other women admitted that they didn't believe Juan's story, but who cares? Mia said that we, as Robin's friends, just have to accept the fact that Robin is, believing it. As viewers, we feel the same way. So, I don't really think I have any thoughts on this whole thing with Robin and Juan. Do you, before I move forward?
Juan, I mean, the least he could have done, I guess, is showed up. This is the last season Robin's in. Thank
Mm-hmm.
God. This all started with Juan and it's
Yeah.
going to end with Juan. Like Robin
Yeah.
just being on the show was about Juan. We're divorced. We still live together, share the same bed. Okay, now we're engaged. Okay, then 3 years later we're married, which wasn't even like the wedding that they were supposed to have initially. And
Right.
then scandal before, scandal after. It's always about Juan. So
Always.
honestly, I'm glad he's not going to show up. I'm tired of him. Tell me something about Robin.
Well, Andy mentioned something about skincare products, but I can't.
Oh,
I'm
that what was it, that
Oh, the
facility she wanted
hair
to
spa
open?
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. So, Candace brought the props. It was this year was her turn apparently. So the conversation about Juan prompted Candace to revisit her issues with Robin. Candace still felt like Robin undermined the authenticity of Real Housewives of Potomac by hiding the Juan storyline behind a Patreon paywall. She said it was hypocritical for Robin to have such big expectations for her co-stars while failing to be transparent herself. With that in mind, Andy shared a question from a viewer pointing out how Candace previously said that she and her husband could pick and choose what to include on the show. That's when things got weird. Unlike most audience questions, they bleeped the name of this person. Candace immediately hit back and said she wouldn't answer the question because it came from a blogger whom Robin is friends with. Candace started throwing accusations at Robin about how she was sharing proprietary information with a blogger in a group chat. She proceeded to pull out these ginormous poster boards from behind the couch that looked like something you would use for a sixth grade science fair. Regardless, Candace pulled them out like a smoking gun and tried to illustrate how Robin had been communicating with the blogger in a group chat. Of course, this isn't the first time that Candace has accused Robin of being too friendly with bloggers. She had the same complaint as Sharice's crab boil. It wasn't an effective argument then, and it wasn't an effective one at the reunion. The fact that
Mm.
they blurred out the screenshots on her poster boards didn't help her case. Either way, anytime Candace starts going on these rants about the things that happened online and something a blogger said, it just doesn't connect. She sounds less like a real housewife and more like a conspiracy theorist. She could have spent less time at Office Max getting props made and more time developing a cohesive argument. So, Candace,
Girl.
yeah, yeah,
Well, these poster boards and her whole argument are a moot point, in my opinion.
right.
For somebody who didn't like Monique, and Monique is the one who brought the binder, now everybody brings props. So
Everybody,
props to Monique, literally.
yes.
Double entendre here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Candace, throughout this whole season, and sometime after the reunions and stuff, she's gone to bloggers. I,
Yes.
I sent you some things on Instagram where it's either talking about her or talking about the ladies or talking about the show. So everybody does it.
Yeah.
So that argument right there is invalid. I was having a discussion today with one of my other friends, and she thinks that Robin and Giselle and Ashley did it on purpose.
Oh,
But
she believes Candace.
yeah, she believes Candace because she said that by them highlighting the Candace situation of it all with Chris, you really don't have time to think of what Robin did. So they were hoping that it's so big, that the whole situation is big enough that it would never need to be brought up.
Okay.
But I told her it just doesn't make any sense because I feel like Robin was defending her and Chris. We saw it when they went to I think it was a lunch or a dinner.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
even spoke to her bestie Giselle, which we really don't see them at odds that often. Be
Right.
like, hey, I don't really think he was this. And I think she had another conversation with somebody else. So if that was her intention, she would have just kept quiet, which some people say that she did, or she could have done some more.
Right.
And, just like ignited, whatever Giselle does and whatever Ashley does. But I don't think she meant to do it on purpose.
No, I don't think
That's
so.
just Giselle's always gonna Giselle, and Ashley's always gonna throw a bomb somewhere and walk away. That's what she does.
Yeah,
Should Robin have been more transparent? Because as a housewife, we expect her to tell us about her life and everything that's going on. Yes, I think she's guilty of that.
yeah,
Especially if she posted it on her or spoke about it on her podcast, the
right.
Reasonably Shady podcast.
Yeah,
That's the problem. I don't think the problem is who did what,
yeah.
but
So
that's it.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that it wouldn't make sense for Robin to have been a part of some grand plot, to highlight Chris's whatever.
Hmm.
Um, because at the end of the day, the stuff about Juan was going to come out. Juan was already in the news because of the situation with his job. You mean to tell me that they were dumb enough or naive enough to think that this other stuff wouldn't come out? Like,
Yeah.
of course it will. They've been doing this is their 8th season, at least for Robin. She's been there since, the beginning. She's been there since the beginning, so she should know. The blogs will find something. So I would think it'd be way too naive and way too idiotic if those three decided to plot.
Hmm.
And then on top of that, I think Robin had a genuine friendship with Candace outside of everything. And I
Yeah.
think Robin got along with Chris. Honestly, I think all of them really got along with Chris. And I don't think anybody had an issue with him. So
Hmm.
this would have just been a plot, to basically would have made them look like terrible people because they're harming, Candace and Chris, but primarily Chris because he's the one having to deal with the ramifications being accused of X, Y, and Z. So I don't necessarily think that that's the point of what really happened. I think Candace Candace can't admit when she's wrong. And because she has stuck to this for so long, I don't think she can walk it back. And I think that's why she continues to hold on to it. Because then she'll look silly. And she keeps thinking that all of these smoking gun things that she finds with the bloggers and she did this and she went, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything, and I think she's trying to utilize that as a way to say, yeah, see, I was right. This is a plot. This is what they were doing the whole time. I think maybe what she wants to believe is that Robin had a relationship with these bloggers and therefore Robin, through her relationship with them, stopped them from printing anything about Juan and instead focus on Chris. I think that's why she thinks there's some kind of plot because of this connection that Robin may have with the bloggers. But it's like that still again would not make sense. So anyway, that's the I was very done with that part because I was like, why are we still talk? This is like a whole reunion 2 seasons, however many seasons ago. Like it's tiring.
But I'm just annoyed at her. She's giving mixed signals. So she wants to be gun ho mad at Robin for
Right.
this whole situation with Chris. And the next minute, she wants a triangle tissue because she misses Robin. I'm like, all right, so if you are messing with my husband and saying XYZ, I don't care about you. Like, why are you trying to be semi friends with her or not? Like, I don't understand. So that's why I agreed with Robin when she said, all right, so if I hurt you so much and I plotted on you, like, why do you want to be my friend? And I'm
Right.
like, that is the brightest thing Robin has said since I've met her, virtually on TV. Like, why are you crying? Like, there's nothing to salvage here. Either you're friends with her and you forgive this whole situation or keep it moving.
Yeah.
Candace wants to be in limbo. She thinks she's Giselle. I'm happy that she's gone.
That is exactly what I said as I was watching the reunion. I'm so glad she ain't coming back because it just shows you the fact that she began crying shows you that she knows she messed up, but she can't
Yeah.
take it back. And so here she is trying to find another way, and it just keeps backfiring.
The Candace's problem is that she's immature. You
Yeah,
know, if you guys have watched our other episodes, we're a fan of Candace
Yeah.
because she's just so immature. Like she's just too up and down. If you're not agreeing with her, she either starts to cry. After that, she gets Hulk smash pissed, and then she says the most hurtful, out of pocket things. It's like you can't regulate your emotions.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because she's a pretty woman, she's very intelligent, I
Hmm.
think she's very talented, but this immaturity hinders her as
Yes.
a housewife and as a person.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want her gone, but it's a shame because I think she had so much potential, but she
Yeah.
just can't control herself.
I completely agree. It's very disappointing. The whole thing of how Candace ended up is very, very disappointing. But let's continue. So, since Andy wanted the women to find a path forward, part one was largely focused on Candace and the Green Eyed Bandits. Despite Andy's crystal clear instructions, trying to get any of these three women to take accountability and move forward was like pulling teeth. Andy specifically asked Candace what she needed from Robin to move forward. In a matter of seconds, we watched her transition from arguing and pointing at her postcards to crying and asking for a cry angle. Giselle burst out into laughter over the theatrics, which Andy didn't seem to appreciate. While Robin and Candace's feud still made zero sense, the issues between Candace and Giselle were a little more clear. Giselle talked about how she started receiving an influx of death threats that were reminiscent of Candace's colorist comments at the season 7 reunion. Candace didn't think it was appropriate to take the blame for the death threats Giselle received. She argued that everyone received death threats, so Giselle's experience wasn't unique. She then started fumbling through her poster board, seemingly trying to find an example. On the other hand, Candace explained that she was still resentful of Giselle's comments about Chris in season 7. They spent a solid chunk of the reunion arguing over what exactly Giselle said. In Candace's mind, Giselle accused her husband of SA. No one on stage agreed with her, but she refused to back down from that position. Wendy tried to help her friend and asked Candace if she was willing to hold herself accountable for any of the drama. It took a while, but Candace did finally agree to hold herself accountable for her reaction to Giselle. It was the teeniest little bit of progress, but it still didn't seem like there was a clear path forward. It's a dead end.
Hmm.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, I think she behaved like Deborah before Deborah came around.
Who's Deborah? Oh, Deb. Oh, Sesame Street.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't
got
want
it.
to go to Sesame Street, but yeah, Sesame Street. Andy asked her, well, did you like any of these comments that you made that were directed towards Giselle on X or whatever social media was? And it's like, yeah, I like some. Okay. So if you were really regretful of the things that you were saying, you wouldn't be liking these things.
Yeah.
Again, showing your immaturity. Giselle, she ain't no victim here.
No.
She's stuck on season 7. Well, season 8, she really didn't talk. So, season 7, she was like, that man made me go to a hotel, her words, maybe go into that room, and, I was uncomfortable. Now, is it SA? No. However, it can, your mind can wonder. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like how uncomfortable did you feel? Did something else happen? You just start to think of these things. So I
Hmm.
think as women or anybody, we just need to be careful at the way we express, certain things because, these are sensitive times. Of course, Chris has suffered the repercussions of Giselle saying this with his job, his family, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody has been hurt here.
Yeah.
Uh, Giselle did apologize semi, but Giselle doesn't help the situation because she was making fun of Candace like she was a kindergartner, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, the tears, the tears." I'm like, why? It's unnecessary. You're
Yeah.
one of the oldest people in this cast. You
Right.
shouldn't be behaving in this way.
This is true. I think the only thought I have regarding all of that is just we have had a lot of gripes about Giselle this past season and probably for the last several seasons.
Hmm.
And one of those gripes was the fact that she was so unwilling to engage with Candace, with Wendy, or whatnot in the group. And that was just it was frustrating. Um but during this reunion episode, she could have come out looking like the bigger person. She could have come out looking like she was above this whole situation, and could have, and to me, could have salvaged herself from the season by simply remaining calm and collected, and not allowing Candace's behavior to really provoke her, because she tried to act like she wasn't being provoked, but instead she acted just as immature as Candace and made herself seem even worse in contrast, because she, like you said, she's one of the older ladies. She's been here since season 1. Why is Karen the only one who is having to try and hold all of these women in their place, and hold them accountable, while
Mm-hmm.
Giselle is still here acting like if she's Candace's age or younger? And
Mm-hmm.
it really made me feel like all of our complaints about Giselle were well founded, and I'm honestly surprised she's not one of the ones that is leaving. I really would have expected that she would be gone as well, because I don't see a point to her being there anymore.
I think that she's going to act better on season 9. If there's a season, I'm sure there's season 9. Because well, now Candace is gone.
But so is
Uh,
Robin.
well, Robin is gone, but we really didn't see them together much this
Yeah.
season. Um, but Big Boss Man said, "You better tighten up." So I think she needs to keep her job, but she also needs to deliver on things. I don't know what you need to get, a hobby, get a boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know what you want to do. Uh, Show us something.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm over her. I'm done with her. But this next part, y'all,
What?
getting through this next part. Okay. Mia sheds light on incognito. Jesus, take the wheel. Let me continue. Let me continue. By the end of the reunion, Andy shifted gears away from the dead end, and we revisited the mess that Mia's life right now. The last time we saw them, they were arguing in their kitchen. During the reunion, they were seemingly on decent terms. Backstage, he even jumped into a FaceTime with Ink and greeted his estranged wife's new man. Talk about a modern family.
Mm-mm.
Mia added more color to the story about Ink. First of all, he is not a DJ, he is a radio personality.
Get it
And
right.
he made that mistake, and Mia quickly corrected him. Words matter. Mia also explained how they were high school sweethearts who grew apart as life took them in different directions. They reconnected at the beginning of Mia's relationship with Gordon. When things got bad in their marriage, linking up with Ink again seemed natural. In the finale, we learned that there were some questions surrounding Mia's son, Jeremiah. She said they weren't sure if it was Gordon's child or Ink's. It felt icky to hear that on TV, but during the reunion, Wendy added another layer of mess to the story. She said that Gordon alleged that Ink came to Mia's house and tried to take Jeremiah. Mia admitted that even to this day, Ink still thinks Jeremiah is his child. Where is Maury Povich when you need him? This is an article. This isn't me saying it, but I co-sign. In the next part of the reunion, the husbands, where applicable, join their wives on stage. Gordon is about to have a lot of explaining to do. Luckily, he and Mia seem committed to having a polar opposite approach to reality TV compared to Robin and Juan. The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8 continues on Sunday night at 8 on Bravo. And really quickly, I failed to mention the name of the author of this article. It is Justin Smith. I'm sorry. I should have said that at the beginning. But Mia.
I'm like, it's easy to go get a DNA test and put this to rest.
Share your thoughts. Because just.
It's easy to go get a DNA test and put this to rest. Like, why are we disputing these things at this point? I don't even
Yeah.
understand this. I think it was so icky, like the article said, that Mia's over here going goo goo gaga over her new man. Oh, I love you. Gordon's right behind you, your husband. Y'all not divorced yet. I'm like, where's the level of, I guess, respect? I mean, I know that she's in another relationship, but can we just, I don't know, just for me, just do things, nicely. Like, you don't need to go and embarrass this man. Like, I think he said way more than I've ever imagined. I'm like, just be respectful. I'm like, or couldn't you have said this in another room? Mia just wants to be a reality star. And you know what? She gets an A+ for it. But at, at what expense? I'm like, this storyline with her son, Gordon, making him look like, I don't even know what word to use. I don't even want to say anything disrespectful. Like, what's the word? Cuckold?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think
Um,
that's it.
among other things, I guess I said the word, but
Yeah.
Mia, geez, Mama Mia.
Who is my turn? Is it my
Yeah.
I, oh man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So so y'all know, if you guys have been watching our channel, you know that we have been very pro Mia this season. We have championed her. We've called her the real MVP of the season because she has kept it afloat. She has carried this season on her back.
It wasn't Karen riding the fence.
We ain't even gonna talk about girl. Um, but but I
Mm,
felt so uncomfortable watching that scene where she's FaceTiming this guy, and I I can't, because I feel like we as the audience, we're seeing all this happen every Sunday night, right? So there's a very small window in between these things. I'm sure that they stopped filming maybe a month or so prior to the reunion, or maybe even longer than that. So for them, more time has passed. But for us, this was just last Sunday that we were in Mia and Gordon's kitchen, and we found out about ink, and we found out about a possible paternity issue.
mm-hmm.
So it feels very, very, very icky. It feels very wrong. I'm Look, if by all means, be a modern family. By all means, do what makes y'all happy. If this is working out for you guys and working out for your family, then great. But I can't imagine that the question of your son's paternity is good for anybody, especially given that now we are 2 weeks in a row discussing it,
Mm-hmm.
and your son will eventually see this if he hasn't already heard something about it, because kids go to school, and in school they learn things, in
Yeah.
school they hear things. So if in fact this ink person tried to go to Mia and Gordon's home to take the child away, I find it very odd that Gordon would engage with him so positive, not positively, but like so cordially on the FaceTime. And it just did not feel right. Like, I kind of felt bad for Gordon, but I want to like hold that because I don't know the full story, right? We don't know everything. We just know so far what's been happening with Mia and how she's with this man and everything. The last thing I'll say about that, doesn't he kind of just look like a younger Gordon?
He does.
Okay. Okay.
He
Okay.
really, well, Mia got his height.
Clearly. But so any other thoughts on anything else we saw on the reunion?
None. I don't even know if I want to watch part two. I mean, I am, but am I ready? I don't know.
I would like to point out the seating arrangement, which we briefly discussed last episode. And Andy
Mm-hmm.
told Giselle, "You're sitting there."
Mm-hmm.
And
The
Mia
hall.
was second chair. So I think it's very interesting that now, and not only is Mia second chair, but Mia is now sitting where Karen was usually sitting. And Karen is sitting where Giselle usually sat. So it's a very interesting little dynamic they have going on with these musical chairs. And Ashley's all the way at the end of the couch on the other side in Siberia. And, it felt a little bit weird.
Mm,
Um, So that's one thing. And Wendy, Wendy, there was times where I was just like, girl, why? Like, she either made a face or she made some comments. I'm just like, really? Is that necessary?
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing that I'll say is Robin has the audacity, just straight up hypocrisy
Mm-hmm.
of discussing Chris Bassett and his possible philandering when you were so pressed you withheld a whole storyline about your husband and his alleged philandering?
Well, I
Man,
guess we'll see that. We'll see that next episode, I guess.
ma'am. That to me was like, Robin, you've been looking positively when it comes to this whole Candace situation. But right now you just shot yourself in the foot because what? I don't need to hear about no limp nothing. That's it. That's my rant.
But you know what? These housewives, they aren't really strategic. They aren't right in there because I'm not gonna get into it because they'll be like, "You are maniacal, E." I'm not gonna go there, but you can tell who's missing some bolts.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think you can.
Guys, we're gonna end on the light note. That was the light note. All right, guys, that concludes today's episode. Let us know what you think of part one of season 8 of the
Mhm.
Real Housewives of Potomac. Were
Mhm.
you guys as upset as we were throughout the season? What do we think about the reunion? What do we
Right.
think about this Mia Gordon, Jeremiah, Incognito Inc. paternity situation? This triangle, pentagon, I don't even know.
Pentagon.
What do we think about Robin and Karen? Is that even called for? Whatever they're arguing about.
No.
Are you guys glad that Candace is leaving? Do you agree with us? Do you feel bad for Candace? What do you think about Giselle? Should she retire? Let us know
Mm.
what you think. But if you
Yeah.
haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can be our friends. So we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Zee will tell you about.
We're on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. We are also now, for a little bit now, we've had our videos in podcast format. You can listen to them on YouTube Music, you can listen to them on Spotify. So if you're not able to watch, you can still listen and make sure you like, subscribe, and all that stuff on there. Rate 5-star, all of that. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you for part 2 next week. All right, guys. See you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.